grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. Join me. I am grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. Amen. And Rita Marie, I am grateful for you.
One more hug. I never know.
Those of you who are aware know that we have over 100 people who are certified to be coaches and trainers of the Be Peace and practice and the connection practice. And we are very blessed today to have two of our, we call them resors, and we have two of our resors here are going to sing us a song or two, including a special one that they wrote just for today. Sharon and Mike.
You're okay? Okay.
So we're going to start out with a song that everybody knows and sing along with.
I think we'll use the mic.
That was great. We look out at the audience and the back row is going.
Let's come down to my level, though. Yeah. Is that okay for you?
Yes. So part of the connection practice, I think it's the mission or whatever is to be in connection, practice connection, learn how connection, and pass it on to the next generation. Teach your children.
Feel free to sing along with us if you know the song. Hey. Here we go. I'm losing my song.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well. Their parents' hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they fix, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. And you of tender years can't know the fears that your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well. Their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they fix, the one you'll know by. And don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. Okay, so since Lisa advertised a song that we wrote, this is a song Sharon wrote. I sang it for the first time about 15 minutes ago. So, but I do know the hook to it, which is "Pass It On." So I'll be joining on that, and Sharon's going to be doing everything else.
Because we want to learn the art of connection and pass it on to our children, and have them pass it on to us. When we're completely connected, we're in tune with the song. The world around us sings, and we feel that we belong. When we're completely connected, our heart and mind align, and the words we say pave the way for trust and peace of mind. Pass it on, pass it on. Learn the art of connection, pass it on. A simple practice, it's true, becomes a part of you. So enjoy the new view and pass it on. Our needs can be met in ways we won't regret. Hear the insights of our heart, it's very smart. Problem solved creatively and more intelligently. We build our self-esteem, resolve conflicts, build a team, and pass it on. Pass it on to your loved ones and colleagues. Pass it on. Bring a positive situation. Bring a positive sensation to any situation. To the new generation, pass it on. When we're completely connected, we're in tune with the song. The world around us sings, and we feel that we belong. When we're completely connected, our heart and mind align, and the words we say pave the way for trust and peace of mind. Pass it on, pass it on. Oh, learn the art of connection and pass it on. A simple practice, it's true, becomes a part of you. So enjoy the new view and pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. When we're completely connected, we can pass it on.
Sharon and Mike.
Yay.
I think we have a new theme song. That was wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And now it's my great honor to introduce who you actually all came to see. And I think that you will all agree with me that what brings us into her circle is her authenticity, her courage, her absolute ability to let all of us see her vision and know that we can truly have a completely connected world. So I'd like to introduce best-selling author Rita Marie Johnson.
Now, Lisa, before you go too far, you see, she's given me all the glory here, which is not true. And since I'm authentic, I can't, right? I can't lie about it, right? Lisa is the one who's really saved the day here. You have no idea, really, what she has done to bring this book to you. You know, there's a lot to learn about publishing a book. And in our time, it's very complicated, really, you know, with the printing and the Kindle and all that needs to be done. So Lisa has done an outstanding job. I truly could not have done it without her. I would not be standing here today with a book in hand with Lisa. And so I've got your fixing it. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so this is your specially autographed book. Yes. And yes. And we want to present you with the flowers you deserve. And we have some other folks to thank as well as we get started here. First, I'd like to invite all of our certified trainers, our razors, to please stand. Take a look around, friends. Yes, all of them have helped with this event in one way or another, and I'm so appreciative to all of you. And of course to Reverend David and Unity of Walnut Creek for hosting our launch. So I want to thank all of you, the congregation here, Reverend David. And is John in the room? John Nichols, where are you? And John has been working behind the scenes. You know, I really should have given the roses to Lisa and John. Because the two of them have saved the day. Truly, that working behind the scenes, John has done so many technical things for us that we just needed done just like this. And so I'm so grateful. And then there's Sherry Dyer. Where's Sherry? Sherry, okay. Sherry's former board member and a videographer and photographer and just all-around supporter of the heart. And then I want to thank Lee, too. Lee, where are you now? Lee is the board chair of Razor Foundation International from Texas, Dallas. And she has just been by my side supporting me in so many ways in this visit and through all our work that we're doing right now. And Garrett has loaned me his Prius. That's huge. That is huge. Yes, and Barbara's here, another board member. Let's have the RFI board members please stand, too. RFI, Razor Foundation International board members. Yeah. Ron Harari, yes, there's Ron. Okay, and so I just want to make sure I haven't forgotten anybody now. All right, well, special thanks to Sharon and Mike for that incredible song. Just love that. All right. So, friends, today is a turning point toward a more connected world, isn't it? It's a turning point toward a more connected world. And so, let's just think back for a moment about how we got here. We started back in 2004 in a public school in Costa Rica. And we were newbies at this. Whoops. Do I need to not hold it so close, or do I need a techie tip? Okay. Anyway, so completely connected. Something is disconnected. I need to do what? Step back. Step back a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, so I was just saying that we were newbies in Costa Rica at teaching this. We were newbies at learning it ourselves. And we had a very receptive principal and teachers there in Costa Rica. They were really proud to be a part of this because they could see that this could bring more peace to their country. and they were already a country that identified with peace. So this is what they wanted, to really be able to bring peace in a real way into their schools. So they were very receptive, and we did the very best we could, and we got lots of success stories as a result of that first pilot. And what's also true is that the way that we were teaching it at that time was too complex. We needed to focus in on the synergy between empathy and insight and let a lot of the details go. A lot of the aspects needed to just be let go of so that we could make it more teachable, so that it could be practical. People could learn it with ease. And so Lee, you want to advance a slide there for me, please? You want to get a chair? You're going to get them. You sure? Okay. So let's put the first one in there. So the first thing that we had to achieve in our evolution was to become simply synergistically powerful. I still feel like I'm about to go into static mode. Maybe back here is better. Is that better? Okay. I want to come toward you because I like to connect, you know. So don't take my distance. Oh, it's right in the middle that's the problem. Well, I could do that, but then I might get in front of this because I don't like to feel so far back. Is that better? Is the mic okay there? All right. Okay. All right. So that was the first thing that we needed to achieve. Let's go to the second one. The other thing over time that we saw that we needed to do was to be understandable and acceptable in terms of our language, to be neutral and universal to people of all ages, all walks of life, all religions, cultures, across the board, to be sure that the language that we were using was really not going to trigger people unnecessarily, make them think that we were teaching something that we weren't, because basically what we were teaching was completely universal and neutral, and we didn't want to get in the way of that with something we'd say. So we worked for years, really, to make it understandable and acceptable to people around the world so that they could hear it and be able to use it. I think I'm going to have to step back here again. Did you hear that little mouse in there? We don't want the mice at this moment. Okay. And then another thing that came up is that as we began to teach this, we realized that the name that we first had, Be Peace, was misinterpreted by a lot of people, that they weren't comfortable with the word Be Peace, and that it was considered something spiritual, and so it was difficult to get into public schools in the United States with something that had a perceived spiritual name. And so we looked at that, and we had to make some choices. And so we developed the new brand, the Connection Practice. And we did that as a way to meet people's needs. Now, with the Connection Practice, we meet the needs of a secular audience for safety. They want to be sure that in their arena, there's not going to be anything taught that would be uncomfortable for them, that wouldn't work for everybody. Of course, we wouldn't do that anyway. But it's just a way to meet perceived needs for safety. And then on the other hand, with the Be Peace brand that we have, we are able to meet people's needs for self-expression. Because when we're in a spiritual community and people receive insights through the practice that we teach, sometimes they want to express it in spiritual terms, and we wanted them to feel free to do that. So that's why we have two different brands, so that we meet people's needs. And that's what we became better and better at over the years, was listening to what people were telling us and saying, let's take a look at that. And let's get this to a point where it works for everybody. And then next, we had to make it adaptable as well to all arenas of life. For our business people, we need to present it in a certain way so that they can hear it and see how it would apply to business. And same with nonprofits. We are now teaching it, for example, in an addiction recovery center. And we'll be teaching it in a domestic violence center in Dallas in June. And so we need to speak to the needs that are present in the room. And so we look at our presentations, and even though it's the same practice all the time, it's very consistent in being the same practice, but we have to meet people where they are. And so we had to make it adaptable so that we could do that, to reach into all arenas. Okay? And then we also needed to show that it was scientifically validated. Let's go to the next three there, Lee. So I touched on this morning in my message about the science behind the steps of our practice, about how naming feelings takes the charge off because it reduces the reaction of the amygdala of the brain, that is the reactive part of our brain. And then we now know that naming needs activates the empathic responses in our brain. When we have a context for understanding someone's needs and we name those needs, again, it takes the charge off and helps us to get in touch with our empathy. And lastly, that we know that when a person is in a positive mood, or what they call positive affect, that they can more reliably access their insights. And so, of course, coherence takes us into that positive mood, so it's no wonder that we can access insights. So this is all research that's been done that has scientifically validated every step of this practice. Let's go to the next. And then we also had to prove it with the data. We had to show that this works. And so we did evaluations over 11 years, and we have objective data from the school program in Costa Rica, and also thousands of testimonies from people who've had shifts as a result of this practice, who found it helpful. Then we also had to make it accessible. We had to find ways that people who work, full-time jobs and can't get away to a 4-day course, how they could get there. So we've made it more accessible through a variety of ways, through making our courses weekend courses, dividing the Foundations course into 3 parts, creating a tour, through coaching. Now we have an online course. And so we've tried to make it accessible for people in many different ways. And then next, to make it transferable by grounding the material in curriculum for both children and adults. And next, to make it scalable. And this is so important, friends, because in our school system, for example, in the United States, there's more and more emphasis on social and emotional learning. They call it SEL, social emotional learning. The challenge is that oftentimes the curriculum is complex, kind of where we were. And so it's very challenging to turn it into a skill that the kids can learn and do on a daily basis in the classroom. And so we worked to make it simple enough, efficient enough, so that it can be taught to kids in 6 30-minute lessons, and then after that they can do it every morning. If you were in church this morning, you heard me talking about doing something every morning. And so it's important to do it regularly, to really be able to keep our inner lives in order and conscious and clean. So our game in the schools program is very simple, efficient, and is designed to be done on a daily basis, so that the kids, when they do it, they know 2 things. They know that they matter, and they know also that they know how to contribute to another person's well-being. That's how the game works, because it's a partner game. So each student either gets their needs heard that day or gets to contribute to hearing the other person's needs. And so it's very efficient in getting the job done, and that means it's scalable, that it can be done for millions of kids in a pretty direct, efficient, simple way. Okay. Oh, I said that. And then for adults, through the connection experience, this is a new course that we have where it's 4 teleseminars, and each week the teleseminar is followed up by 30 minutes of coaching by a certified trainer, certified coach. And so in this way we can introduce it to people around the world. They don't have to be present to learn. And so we're trying this out. This will begin in May, our Connection Experience teleseminars. And what's also important is to continue our courses in person, because we know that in teaching connection, that We really like to see a person's face, the body language, that being in person matters too. But again, we're trying to make it accessible in so many different ways, through the book, through the teleseminars, through courses, and all of these experiences build a foundation of learning so it can be passed on, as Sharon says. And then deliverable. Through our over 100 certified trainers, what we call raseurs, and more of them are becoming active each year. You know, we started having trainers many years ago. We had a big launch in 2011 of our trainers. And yet we had a ways to go in getting it to a point where they could deliver it, where it was easy enough and they could learn the materials and get it across and market it in a way that really was doable for them. And so now we're to that point. Oh, let's go back one. I think there was one more. Yes, marketable. Okay, and so I think the latest is that we are number 9 on the bestseller list for, yes, woo, 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 woo. And that's in the area of communication and social skills, that category, which is perfect. So perfect. Right. And so we know that through the book, through people reading about it first, that it will be so much easier then to encourage them to go to courses and to really let it spread, for it to ripple out. So we've done our homework, friends. We've achieved all of these different areas before we ever tried to go big. And truly, this book is the first time we've really tried to promote it, because we were in an evolutionary stage. We have never marketed it, promoted it to any large degree, because it needed to be fine-tuned. And it took a long time to fine-tune it, to get all of these things achieved. And so we've done our homework. We have now met these challenges of pioneering this practice in the world. And so now that it's ready, now we have to look at next steps, right? Because today is a turning point toward a more connected world. And so what do we want to create now? Now that we've evolved, we've got it fine-tuned, we have the book, and so now what is it that we want? What is it, friends, we want in our world? Well, let's take a look at some ideas of what we might want. Would you like to eliminate violence in schools and create healthy learning environments? Yes? Okay. So, what could we do to do that? Well, we have a vision for offering scholarships to every willing teacher and guidance counselor. I think that would get the ball rolling, don't you think? Yes, that's what we'd love to do. So I'm just going to put out, the ideas of what we might want and some big dreams here. These are big dreams, friends, of what we want to achieve. Wouldn't we like to have children who live and breathe empathy and insight? Yes? Okay. And so how could we do that? We could integrate the connection practice into the schools so it's considered as basic as reading, writing, and arithmetic. Right? Yes. And next, how about parents who know how to break generational dysfunctional patterns and teach their children how to pass the connection practice on to the next generation? Everybody's going, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, and so we could provide parent courses at every school, couldn't we? It could be a part of the curriculum just like it is for the children. And how about regular group support for adult practice? Because one thing we know about this, friends, is it is practice, practice, practice. It's do it every day and really master it. And it takes practice and it takes support, building a community around you. And so what can we do? We can have practice groups in communities, much like the 12-step programs have, right? Could have them everywhere. All right, let's go to the next one. Would we like to have healthy spiritual communities that know how to keep everyone's needs on the table and how to access their collective wisdom? I think we have a very good model of that here. But I think we've all had experiences where there weren't healthy spiritual communities, where we know that there's been painful experiences that perhaps didn't get healed. And so we need to have models of a new way. So we are building models of that, actually. For example, at Unity in Melbourne, Florida, we have an example. And, of course, Reverend David teaches heart math here regularly, all the time. And so we see models like this springing up. All right. And what about healthy relationships that result in solid marriages and emotionally secure children? Anybody yearn for that? Yeah. And so what could we do about that? We could offer the connection practice in retreats for couples. Right? All right. Let's see what else we could do. What about business people who know that it pays off to put connection first and outcome second? Ooh. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, and so we already have courses for business people, and these courses help them work more collaboratively, creatively, and efficiently. We know that soft skills in business pay off, right? All right. And what about college students who attain high social and emotional intelligence before beginning their careers? Wouldn't that be something if it was considered just as important a skill to have as the technical knowledge or whatever it is that they majored in? Because we know from all the research that actually social and emotional skills are the thing that is most important in people's success. You know, more important than the content of what they know is their ability to connect, their ability to relate. All right, and so we can begin connection practice courses and practice groups on university campuses. And what about folks in prison, friends? Wouldn't it be wonderful to rehabilitate people who've been wounded, who perhaps never had a good chance to learn social and emotional intelligence? And so we could find sponsors to provide connection experience to prisoners. And this is what I'm saying here is that if prisoners can listen to online courses when they're in prison, that we could reach them that way. You understand what I'm saying? We don't, and obviously going into the prisons as well would be wonderful. But we could make a beginning by just offering the teleseminars. And how about this one, friends? Leaders of countries with high social and emotional intelligence who'll reduce the need for defense and increase funding for education. Hey. Yes. You know, I'm wondering if that might seem like a pipe dream to some of you. But actually, I think it's very doable. I think it's very doable. You know, when I have taught at the University for Peace in Costa Rica, we had graduate students from all over the world. And these were young people who intended to go back to their countries and be leaders. And so we've trained quite a few graduates at the University for Peace. And now I see that it's just going to be time soon to take it to the next level where we actually invite leaders of countries, people who are already in leadership positions, to come to a course and inspire them then to take it back to their countries and get it into their schools and get it into the government. And even mediation. For example, in Costa Rica we have mediation centers. They're called Casas de Justicia. And they do mediation in those centers. And now the next step is they are working on integrating the way that we come at mediation, which is more of a heart-to-heart way to resolve issues so that people are connected by their feelings and their needs, and they actually use intuition. They find insights about how to resolve their conflicts. So it takes mediation, friends, to a whole new level. You see? It's a different kind of mediation that connects people at a deeper level rather than just, you know, a win-win is a good thing, right? Certainly better than killing each other. Right? But when we can get connected at a deeper level, then it's much less likely that those conflicts are going to show up again. So, all right, friends. All right, so we've come a long way, and we've been able to to create this social and emotional skill that is a game changer for individuals in the world. This is a game changer, isn't it? For those of you who've experienced it, it's a game changer. All right, so then what are we going to do next? We have all of these things that we want to accomplish, all these big goals, and it's time to fly forward to accomplish those goals that we need to remember. And that is to embody it ourselves. To put connection first, outcome second. These are all wonderful outcomes that we'd love to see in our world, aren't they? But they're all going to come from being committed to being connected here. Being connected ourselves, completely connected here while working for connection in the world. Because we know if we don't embody it here, it falls apart. Haven't we seen that time after time? If we don't know how to do it right here, in our own lives, in our own hearts, and with the people immediately around us, then going out and working for peace or working for a more connected world, it falls apart when we can't do it ourselves. So as long as we keep that in front of us, we'll stay on track, won't we? We'll stay on track and we'll be able to continue to create a more connected world. And so, friends, I'd just like to invite you to take a moment and consider what it is that you might need to know yourself about being completely connected. What is it that is still not clear for you? What is it that is a blind spot? What is it that is a passion? What is it that you haven't seen before that you see now that you could do? Is there anything that is just missing in your awareness around being completely connected? So I'm just going to invite you to move into coherence with me and to just go into your hearts. And I'm going to invite you to look inside when you move into coherence and ask yourself, what do I need to know about being completely connected? What do I need to know? Is there some insight, some answer that I haven't yet seen about being completely connected? So for those of you who are new to this, please choose something to appreciate that's easy. Before we move into coherence, I know most of you have been doing this with Reverend David, but just on the off chance that there's somebody here who has not yet learned coherence, okay, it's so simple. You can just follow me. All you have to do is choose something that's easy to appreciate before we start. You got something? Okay, something that just makes your heart sing. All right. Okay, friends, so when we get to the third step of feeling appreciation, then I'm going to stop talking and I'm just going to be quiet while you listen inside. And when you get your answer, just open your eyes so I know you're complete. All right, so let's go down now, friends, and walk our talk. Let's go down into those beautiful, strong, wise hearts. Down into the heart we go. Dropping all our energy down into the heart. And now, breathing as if breathing through the heart. Deep rhythmic breaths through the heart. And now feeling appreciation for whatever is easy for you. Just filling our hearts with that sweet feeling of appreciation. Filling our hearts with those big smiles. Okay, friends, I see still a few eyes closed, but I'm hoping that you'll be able to go home and spend a few more minutes there in coherence and see what's there for you. Is there anyone who'd like to share what came to you? Did you say? Let go and let God. Anyone else? Yes. See it all as a learning process. Anna? Do it every day without fail. Without fail. Do it every day. Yes, Dawn. All areas? All there is love. That's completely connected, isn't it? Anyone else? No. Veronica. Stay connected. Stay connected. Just very simple. All right. Anyone else want to share? Yes, Lean. Consistency and trust. All right.
Yeah, I have to overcome my inbred skepticism.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if anybody else shares those kinds of things. I'm always skeptic. Somebody says, this is the answer.
Oh, well, I meant to say that, this has been called.
Well, first of all, I'm the first one to say it's not a cure-all. But people have said it's a cure-a-lot. So I'm not saying it's the answer. And when you read the book, you'll see that comes through. We're sort of celebrating that we have a game changer, but just because it's a game changer doesn't mean it is the answer. So I want to be very clear about that, that I'm not saying it's the only way. But what we do know is from all these years of work that it makes a difference, that we can make a difference. We won't be the only ones making a difference.
I'm going to do it consistently just to see if that's
Okay. Yay. Woohoo. That's right. And friends, when I think about the list of things of what we've been able to achieve, making it scalable and teachable, understandable, all of those things, that was all important. But what really I think is the most important thing about this practice is that it resonates with the truth of who we are. That it is something that easily resonates with the truth of who we are, and then we can do it. It's like, okay, this is who I am, and I can do this. And so I think that's why it works. Like I said, it doesn't work for everybody all the time. I'm the first one to say that, and I'll give examples in my book of when something was disappointing for me in using the practice. A lot depends on the consciousness of the people around us and our skill in actually embodying it. There's a lot of factors. But no matter what happens in terms of outcome, what we know is that we're better off having done it. At least we feel like we've done the best we can. That it brings us peace to know that we've brought our empathy and our insight to it, rather than just feeling muddled. At least that is true for me. That we have a way to come at challenges in life that's clear and gives us a way to make a beginning. And there's no cure-all, there's no, instant fix here, friends. And, just like in the 12-step programs, they say it works if you work it. And it's the same with the connection practice, that it's not some automatic fix, some magic cure. So thank you so much for bringing that up, because I I think that's so important for us to hear and understand. All right, friends. So, as we launch this book, I just want to once again express my appreciation for all that you've done. Those of you I thanked earlier, and just for being here today, to be with me in launching this book. This was the thing that I knew I needed to do since I was 10 years old. And now, 53 years later, that's a long time to be working on a book. Yeah, so I'm so relieved and grateful to be done, and so appreciative of your support in celebrating this with me today. And so I'm just going to invite you all to stand. And I invite you to join hands. And just to affirm with me, skeptics and all, because it's okay to be skeptical, right? We want to be thinking for ourselves, right? We don't want to just accept something hook, line, and sinker. You got to try it yourself. And so I appreciate your openness and your skepticism. And so, friends, I invite you to say with me, today is a turning point toward a more connected world. Together, today is a turning point toward a more connected world. And let's put our hands up and celebrate that. Yay! Woo! All right. Thank you, friends. Thank you.
Everyone, I guess you can see Rita Marie has a big vision, little body. And we do have one more thing we'd like to do. You got them all excited. Sorry. She got you all excited, but we do have one last thing, if you wouldn't mind being seated. I'm sorry. I'd like to ask Reverend David to come back up.
So I get to do the most fun part. Okay. You've seen a vision. You have experienced and worked with this. Many of us have found it amazingly impactful for our lives. Some of us have been involved in witnessing its impact in organizations, in groups, and we've touched its potential. We have an idea. It will spread powerfully if it's funded. We get to do that because intention is wonderful. Funded intention is impactful. And the truth is, this holds such a huge potential to impact our world and the people in the world in a supportive way and help us in a movement of consciousness that really has no limit. And it's because people care enough about that vision to make it real. So I would like you to join me in pulling out your check right now. I assume we have a capacity to do credit cards because that guy at the back can do anything. I know that. He's going to have it. Yes. So if you would just take a moment to go to that coherence and check that insight on what can I do to help this? What can I really do that's significant? You know, we aren't collecting for the nice food. We are really saying here, I'm willing to step forward. For many of you, this may be a first step in financially supporting what can happen here. And that's a beautiful thing. I remember when I got to take that first step. in stepping forward to say yes to this woman's vision because I knew she had the skill to deliver. So really just take a moment. Check with your heart. How can I do that? And not only this moment, but how can I then follow that to help this touch millions of lives? And make that sacred commitment with your own heart. And now the fun part. Pull out your checkbook and start writing. And giving is so much fun. What a thrill to get to do this. RFI. Okay. And I know some of you folks online are joining us. RFI. ResortInternational.org. Okay. So, let's see. Can we go ahead and collect here, or should we? I know folks are going to have to connect with John and the things to do. We've got it. Okay. Okay. Yes. And so take that moment, write it down if you want to go ahead and use a credit card. But remember, this is a whole new beginning. What a world we are about creating right now.
RFI is a 501c3. This is tax deductible, so
So thank you for doing that. And the people who it will touch, say thank you too.
Thank you, David, so much for that. And I also want to thank the people that are online today. You know, we're live streaming, and I just want to thank those who participated in launch parties around the United States. We're so grateful that you joined us. And just to end on the note that there is no dream of connection too big that we can't achieve together. Isn't that the truth? Amen.
Please come up, buy the book, and have Rita Marie sign it for you. Eat the food. Have a good time. Thank you, everyone online, and goodbye.